Nvidia and other chip stocks surge over 5% Thursday as tech led a market rebound. Joining us now with more on the sector is BofA Securities Senior Research Analyst Vivek Arya. Vivek, great to have you with us. I know we highlighted the 6% gain that Nvidia saw yesterday, but if you take a look for the week, Nvidia is actually underperforming the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index. Nvidia's down about 2%, and the SOX is up almost 3%. And there have been doubts since probably that June 20th key reversal date where Nvidia shares hit a new high and then closed on lows, where the stock has really been struggling. So where do you come out on how the stock is valued and if there was just too much hype in the stock?
Good morning, Melissa. So I think practically speaking, whether it's Nvidia, whether it's the rest of the semiconductor space, we could stay volatile until Nvidia reports later this month, and we have the required reset in any delays associated with their new Blackwell chip, which I think is actually not that big. But if we take a step back, we have to separate what's happening in the market from the fundamental side. I think what's happening in the market and the volatility has nothing to do with semis. But this is where all the gains were because AI was the best game in town. And that's why these companies saw the most drawdown also during this volatility. But let's look at the fundamental side. Number one, every one of NVIDIA's top customers, whether it is Amazon, whether it is Meta or Microsoft or Google, they all said they are investing more, not less, in AI. Number two, if you look at NVIDIA's top supplier, Taiwan Semi, they had very strong outlook. In fact, this morning they gave very strong guidance for their last month of results. And number three, if you look at NVIDIA's top system partner, Supermicro, I know they got dinged on the margin side, but if you actually look at the sales growth that they showed for the next 12 months, up 90%, that is 2 times what people are modeling for NVIDIA's growth, and NVIDIA usually outgrows them. So I think the fundamentals are still extremely strong, but the market is going to go through its volatility, which we think should subside by the time NVIDIA reports its results, because the fundamentals are very strong. And the final point on valuation, if I take the Mag 7 outside of NVIDIA, they are trading, and the broad market, it's trading roughly 2 times its earnings growth for next year. NVIDIA is trading 0.8 times, right? So it's trading less than 30 times for over 35 to 40% earnings growth. So I think fundamentals are strong and valuation is still very compelling.
Unless there's a doubt on the earnings growth. and I guess that's the key part of the equation where we'll get some more guidance from NVIDIA. In terms of the reports of the delay to the Blackwell chip, the reports first came out of the information. And I'm wondering, it's interesting because when we hear about delays to other hardware items, you think about it, is it going to be a sale denied or a sale delayed? So in your view, these are sales that will be delayed, correct? That these sales will actually happen. It's just maybe it's pushed out a quarter, 2 quarters, whatever.
Yeah, so if we look at demand for NVIDIA's Hopper product, which is the product before Blackwell, demand for that is off the charts right now. And that's what we heard from Supermicro. They got it well above consensus, and a lot of that is actually based on the Hopper product, because we just have had this period of insane supply constraints in the industry. And just because Blackwell is delayed a little bit doesn't mean the supply constraints have gone away. So any customer who can put their hands on Hopper is still able to buy that product. Now, when it comes to Blackwell, there are many different versions of Blackwell. The most extreme versions that are in the highest, most densest version of the rack scale architecture, they are perhaps pushed out by a quarter or so. So that, I think, can be reflected in numbers. But when it comes to other versions of Blackwell, I do think that they will start to ship some Blackwell later this year. But the key point is that demand in combination of Hopper and Blackwell, I still think is extremely strong for them.
I want to go elsewhere in the chip space. AMD is having a pretty good week, actually, and they've really been gaining on this notion that they're going to gain from Intel's woes. I know you downgraded Intel last week. Do those gains continue, Vivek? Does Intel continue to sort of give share to others?
Sure. When we look at cloud computing overall, I think this is still the best place to be. You are exposed to the most reliable customers on the planet, right? Not just in tech, but these are the most reliable customers. They're investing in AI is mission critical to them. And it's not just the cloud customers. You just had Recursion Pharmaceuticals on before this segment. They are building one of the fastest supercomputers on the planet to invest in drug discovery, and they are partnering with NVIDIA for that. So I think this is a very broad, market phenomena. Now, within cloud computing, our favorites are Nvidia and Broadcom. Once we get outside of Nvidia and Broadcom, because there is a rising tide, I think that's going to give a lift to other players in the industry, whether it is AMD, whether it is Marvell. Intel is definitely behind in this race. They did not invest at the right time. They're still trying to catch up on the manufacturing side. So I think they have a tough few quarters ahead of them, and they really need the broader enterprise market, China market, and the PC market to recover. But our favorites in AI and cloud computing are Nvidia and Broadcom.
Is there a shot that Intel loses any of its CHIPS Act money, Vivek?
That's hard for me to say. I think what's important to know is that we are all for more domestic manufacturing. I think the fact that we are so dependent on Taiwan is definitely a risk factor. Now, the question becomes, how do we get that manufacturing in the US? It will have to be some combination of Taiwan Semi, Samsung, and Intel, because these are really the three companies that know how to do leading edge processors, and they have the capability to do that in the US. Intel is falling behind in that, and I imagine that CHIPS Act will have certain milestones in place to make sure that all the investments that are being put in place, there's actually a return on them. So it's hard to say what happens to CHIPS Act, but on their earnings call, Intel definitely indicated a strong commitment to their manufacturing in the US.